Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Leinster have just welcomed the Bulls to the United Rugby Championship in pretty spectacular fashion, handing them a 31-3 drubbing at the AVIVA Stadium in Ireland today. A bit of a rude awakening for Jake White and his men, but a clear sort of demonstration of just why Leinster are the favourites in this tournament. An absolute masterclass from the Irish side, who were the best side from beginning to end. It really was a five-star performance from them. And for the Bulls, lots of takeaways from the game, and I think passage of play where they sort of looked up for the game and looked ready for this level. But you can just see the quality, that international experience that these players who have been doing this for a long, long time bring. And that's why I think that Jake White's been talking about wanting to raise the player age of the players playing for the Bulls and stuff like that, so that they have this quality. You look at the ages of the Leinster side, all sort of in their sort of late 20s or sort of mid to late 20s, playing in their peak of their powers, whereas the Bulls got a lot of youngsters in and around their squad at the moment. But a very impressive performance from Leinster nevertheless. And it all started very well with an early penalty in the 4th minute. From Johnny Sexton, before Josh van der Flier opened the try scoring with a try in the 6th minute. I mean, it's just the offload game. It was the pace, the intensity of Leinster, which they kind of just ran the Bulls off their feet. And the problem with the Bulls having quite a deep defensive line when they weren't really rushing up is that it allowed Leinster the time to be able to sort of pick the gaps. And Johnny Sexton was just having an absolute field day. He might be 36 years old, but those 105 international caps really did shine through today. He was just sublime, absolutely sublime, putting players into space, running the game, using his kicking game very well, taking into contact when he had to. He just did everything right today. And we talked about the fact that the Bulls' big players need to sort of stand up, and I thought that's kind of where some of their players let themselves down today. Wasn't not a phenomenal performance from Marcel Coetzee. Jan Goosen had one or two good moments, but largely was sort of didn't have much of an effect on the game. A couple of errors in his game as well. Bismarck du Plessis was around in the first half, but didn't manage to sort of impose himself on the game. So I think that's sort of the area where the Bulls need to sort of identify their big players and their big name players. These players who have come back to the Union, they've got to stand up in the next couple of weeks. And we know that this was always going to be a very big ask for them to try and go against Leinster in the first game. So it's very much job done. That's the hardest game they'll play the entire season. So it only gets easier from the Bulls. And they'll take a lot of heart from the fact that for a large passage of the game, especially in the first half, they were actually in Leinster's half and attacking them and just couldn't really score a try. Leinster equally also able to sometimes score tries. So the Bulls will take a lot of heart from the defensive display. But if you look at some of the stats, 56% possession for Leinster, 44 for Bulls, scoring 4 tries, getting that bonus point. They ran 271 meters, 78 carries as well. And I think it shows you in the defenders beat. I mean, the Bulls beat 21 defenders. Leinster beat 9. 8 clean breaks for the Bulls to 3. 6 offloads. But offloads are pretty even. Turnovers can see were pretty even as well. But defensively, the Bulls missed 18 tackles. Leinster missing just 11. Leinster actually had to make more tackles across the game, but winning 8 turnovers to the Bulls 4. And at the breakdown, the rucks were pretty solid. So were the mauls. A discipline, look, also pretty even. 10 penalties for Bulls, 11 for Leinster. So it wasn't really like it was a case of not getting a lot of calls or anything like that. They just got to run ragged at the end of the day. And we look at the running meters from some of Leinster's players, and James Lowe was full of running. Gary Ringrose had a couple of opportunities. Kieran Frawley grew into the game as well. But the likes of Rhys Ruddock, Josh van der Flier, full of running the entire game, and always seemed to find sort of a gap, being able to run in between players and get over the gain line, whereas the Bulls were pretty direct in the way they sort of attacked, and Leinster were up for it physically. So sort of struggled sometimes to get over the advantage line. I mean, you look at the meters carried. This is according to Rugby Pass, and a lot of the Bulls in the negatives actually, despite quite a few carries. But Ulrich Lowe was characteristically sort of at the center of most things good for the Bulls. He made 8 carries across the game. Very strong carries from him as well. So he actually did make 11 carries from across the game. Jan Goosen with 8 carries, Madosh Tumbo with 6. On the defense, the big tacklers across the game. For James Ryan made 10 tackles, missing just 1. Josh van der Flier made 10, missing 3. Maka Alatoa made 8 tackles, didn't miss a single one. And in the midfield, Kieran Frawley at inside centre, you'd expect a lot of tackles, and he did make 5. Looking at the Bulls, Morné Smith made 9 tackles, got a decent performance from him. Jan Goosen apparently made 7 tackles, although I think this looks a little bit muddled up. But for the Bulls, it's back to the drawing board. But as I said, they'll take a lot of heart from the fact that this was their most difficult game. And if this was their most difficult game and they could still compete in certain areas and still be slightly competitive, why can't they be competitive against other teams? Why can't they go the distance against a Munster? And I think at the end of the day, going over there, playing in front of a crowd, there are a lot of external factors that have to be factored in for all the SA teams this weekend. So very much getting to grips with life in European rugby, but a bit of a rude awakening and probably a bit of a sort of a knock to the system in terms of just how competitive the standard of rugby is. All the people worried about, oh, we're going to go over there, the standard's not going to be high enough. Well, when you've got a team like a Leinster, and we'll see with Munster soon as well, there is quality in this competition, a lot of quality players. You've got World Player of the Years playing in this competition. We've got Springboks playing in this competition against us. So there's a lot of quality in this competition. The URC has offered up some very good clashes so far in the first round. I think we're in for a tremendous tournament. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. My name is Steven. Thank you for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.